So every day on Twin Cities Live, we show you our Twin Cities Live weather window, and it's brought to you by Cody at Minnesota Rusco.
But Cody Fluery is much more than that, so now it's time to dive in deep with him. Cody joins us today for this week's edition of Watch, Read, Listen, presented by True Vision. Cody, you've been at my house a lot lately because we've been getting some new doors and windows happening at the
that was fun.
household.
That was a lot of fun.
Cody's the best.
It looks great, too. I've seen some pictures.
Oh, gosh, I'm so happy. So, okay, Cody, we were doing some research into you because we wanted to look up like your criminal record and all that stuff before we had you on the show. Turns out you have an IMDb page.
Yes.
You're an actor too.
How did we not know this? And how'd this all come about?
I honestly, it's just I've been fortunate enough to meet the right people. I went to a performing arts high school. I've always been in love with film. I did some stage work, things like that, and I've huge history buff. So I've landed myself in a few war films.
This is so cool, Cody.
Yeah.
So how does this work from out of Minneapolis? I mean, are they doing casting calls around here for big shows? Like, are you going out to Los Angeles, New York?
I've just been fortunate to meet the right people. Not that they don't do casting calls, but I've made some good friends who, after my time in the military and stuff like that, were like, hey, I know you kind of have the military background and the acting background, so I tell people my head must just look great in a helmet. So I'm in a lot of the war films for sure.
Cody's an onion. Listen, Cody's an onion. He's got a lot of layers to him. Let's find out, though, what you're watching, reading, and listening to. You are watching something that I am also watching, you fellow Star Wars nerd, The Acolyte.
Yeah.
This is very exciting. I'm pumped. A new episode comes out tonight.
Yep. I can't wait to get home and watch it. I think it's so interesting because I don't want to give anything away.
Right.
But I like the era that it's set in.
Yeah, so it follows a new hero on a quest to investigate a series of crimes. It's like 100 years prior to the other stuff, I think. Right?
Yeah, super cool. And like Star Wars is kind of like world history, right? Is really what it is. All kind of, I mean, there's a lot of World War II references and samurai references and all that stuff. And to delve into that universe a little more has been kind of cool.
I think this is really worth it to watch.
Okay, so my question about all the Star Wars stuff, because there's so many, like, is it hard to follow, even though this is a new series? I mean, it seems like they're always introducing new characters. Like, do you have difficulty with that?
Yeah, it's well, each story, especially with the shows, are so different, right? My wife, Sam, is I kind of drag her along to some of the Star Wars stuff, and she does like the newer stuff a lot, and she finds it really easy to follow. She didn't grow up with Star Wars like I did, right?
I think The Acolyte is easier to get into so far than like even some of the other ones, like even Mandalorian. Like you spend a lot of time trying to figure it out and piece it together. I think they've done a nice job of just kind of having one storyline that isn't like you need to understand the entire political landscape of everything in order to get it.
Very, very much so.
Yeah.
I can talk about that stuff forever because I'm like I said, a huge nerd. So I love Star Wars and history and anything kind of in that landscape.
All right.
Yeah. So that's on Disney Plus, and you keep referencing the fact that you are a history buff and a little bit of a nerd. And so what you're reading is The Republic of Pirates, and it's a historical nonfiction. So these are basically true events and true history of pirates. What are you loving about the pirate world?
It's and so I kind of grew up really into World War II history, but then it kind of broadened, right? Great book to read on the beach in the summer, right? During the summer, and it's fascinating to see what we think of these groups, right, and our perceptions of them, especially in film and TV and things like that, in Hollywood, and then what they were really like, right, and what pirates did for the economy, even, right? It's a very important part of where we've come since then, and the rules and the respect that they had that some people might not think they had on the ships. Yeah, so very, very fascinating.
So are pirates, without even knowing anything about it, were pirates sort of like the mafia of the seas and the water? Like they were there, were they protecting some others and maybe not some others?
Very much so. Very much so. With all the kind of political landscape at the time, it was a time when kind of colonial America and everything that was going on, there was a lot of rights on a pirate ship that people didn't have elsewhere, and so it's very, very fascinating in that sense. So they found a sense of freedom and a family on these ships when the Navy at the time wasn't really paying them what they thought they'd be paid. So yeah.
Okay, I gotta read that. That looks really interesting. Okay, you're listening to the band AJR. So they are brothers known for their songs like Bang, The Good Part, and Yes, I'm a Mess. And you just went to their concert. Look how hip and cool you are, Coach.
You're so young.
Yeah, what do you love about this band?
To me, the music's about the beat. I love AJR because you get to, at their concerts, you get to watch them create their music.
Oh.
And they're siblings, and I'm very close with my siblings. So it was really fun to go with my siblings and see them because it's just a blast. They make quite the show.
I don't know anything about this band.
It's so
You need
fun.
your kids would know it, and I think that I'm so fascinated that you picked this band because every song they have that's a hit, it just makes you feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Right.
If it puts you in the mood, turn it on your way to work,
Crank it
great
up.
Super
music.
fun.
Little pump-up song. Okay, very good.
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah,
thanks for
you
coming
guys.
in too.
Love talking about it.
Nice
I
to
know you're a
have you
busy
here,
guy.
Cody.
Good to see you.
You guys, Hollywood star right
you
here in the
believe it?
making. All right, we post a closer look at all of Cody's choices on TwinCiesLive.com.
We'll be back.
TCL's Watch, Read, Listen is presented by Chu Vision Institute. Dr. Chu provides the most vision solutions in Minnesota, from LASIK to cataracts. Contact them today to find out why more Minnesotans are choosing Chu Vision Institute. And for a limited time, call them and you could qualify for your LASIK surgery absolutely free.